Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through day 3 and 4 of the Punchestown Festival, so the 29th and 30th of April, those 2 days racing. So hopefully listen to my previous video on the day 1 and 2 for the festival, and you found my tips for the main races for the first 2 days. So I'm looking at the last 2 days and starting with the Stayers Hurdle division, and Flooring Porter's 15-8 favourite, and then you have Side Burley around 4-1, and then the Storyteller, Beacon Edge, Ronald Pump. But I do think the Storyteller is a fascinating horse. I don't know whether he's going to go to the Gold Cup at Punchestown or he's going to come to this race at Stayers. Whichever race he's going to go, I think he's worth an each way bet. I hope he goes to this race. I think this Stayers 3-mile race over hurdles will suit him, as the Stayers Hurdle at Cheltenham was a bit of a strange race, really. Like Flooring Porter, I know he won very well in the end, but he got a freebie on the front end. Like he just nothing pestered him. He was just easy on the front end, and nothing could come from off the pace, which made it hard for hold-up horses. So I do think he was a bit flattered by it. He was very impressive, don't get me wrong, but I do think he was a bit flattered to think he's top dollar now, as I think a bit of a change in tactics, and people don't let him have as an easy time of it on the front end. I think he might struggle a bit, as he has his quirks as well, so you're never quite sure of him up the running, but at Cheltenham he did it well. But I do think the Storyteller, who was held up in that in the Stayers race at Cheltenham, I think he's got a very good chance this time if he turns up. If they ride him a bit close to him, he did only finish about 5 lengths or so off the Flooring Porter, around 5-6 lengths maybe. But he was held up, and it was hard to make up ground in that race. So I think he did well to finish a relatively close 5th. So I do think the Storyteller, I think he's around 15-2, 8-1, that sort of price. So it's a good each way bet, I think, for the race. If I was to back another horse each way, it'd probably be Side Burley. I know he's second favourite, but around 4-5-1. I think I'm not so sure he could reverse form with Flooring Porter as much. I know he beat the Storyteller at Cheltenham, but at the prices, I'd rather take on Storyteller, as I do think Side Burley and Storyteller are very similar horses, not a lot splitting them. I think Punchestown would suit the Storyteller more than Side Burley as well. So I think they'll all get close to the Flooring Porters. They won't let him have as an easy time of it at the front. So I expect a much tighter finish this time. And I think Storyteller, he literally is very rare to see him outside the placings. He always runs his heart out. And I think at 8-1-ish, I think he's a great each way bet in the race. Now it's a Ryanair Novice Chase on the 29th as well. Energamene's favourite and Shishkin's second favourite. Shishkin ran the other day at Aintree and wasn't that impressive, but he got the job done. It's all he needed to do, really. So I'm not entirely sure they're going to send him over to Punchestown, as he's just had a run. Energamene obviously didn't make Cheltenham, so he's going to be much fresher for the race. So I'm assuming, I don't think Shishkin will run. I think they'll save him for next season now. I think that's what Nick Henson will do. So I think if that leaves Energamene for the race, where he should win. He seems far too good for the Irish horses as well. The novice division, he's absolutely obliterated them every time. Janadil was impressive last time, over 2.5, I think it was. So he'd been interesting each way selection. I don't think we've got to the bottom of him yet. So Energamene's around evens. If you're a big fan of Energamene, you'd probably take that price now, hoping Shishkin doesn't run, because if Shishkin is withdrawn, then Energamene will shorten up a lot, because there's not a lot that I can see that could challenge him. And maybe Janadil at a bit of an each way bet. I don't know whether 2 miles will be too short for him, as he's been campaigned over a bit further, and he might not even turn up for the race, as I'm not sure yet, as it's still a week until these races are run. So I think Energamene is a very solid bet for the race. It'll all depend on whether Shishkin runs, really. It'd be great if he did, because it'd be a fascinating matchup, which we didn't get to see at Cheltenham. But when those two, if they assume those two run in Champion Chase next year, I would definitely be backing Shishkin over Energamene, just going forward, as I think Shishkin is a better horse. I cannot see how Energamene could have beaten him at Cheltenham, watching what Shishkin did. Forget what he did at Aintree, that's irrelevant. He still won it. That's just a relevant race. I think it was one of those races 1-8, and it just is one of those things you just got to jump around safely. So, but at Cheltenham, he was mightily impressive, and I can't see how Energamene can be that good, because if he would have beaten him at Cheltenham, Energamene would be ridiculously good. So I do think Shishkin would win that matchup, but I don't think we'll see the matchup at Punchestown. I think we'll have to wait until next year. But we're going to the final day, day 4. And it started with the Honeysuckles race, the champion hurdle race at Punchestown. She's 4-6. She has every right to go and win again and remain unbeaten. She was unbelievable at Cheltenham. Another great ride by Rachel Blackmore. I assume she'll get another great ride again, as she just can't do anything wrong at the minute. Epperton is second favourite, around 5-1. Now, I don't think I was on Epperton at Cheltenham each way, I thought, and she came third, so it was fine in that regards. But I don't think Aidan Coleman gave her the best of rides. I think she didn't jump that well, as she was held up quite a long way back. Honeysuckle was always near the front of the pace, and she just quick and clear very well. Epperton wouldn't have beaten her. No way would she have beaten her on day, but I think she could have got a lot closer, maybe even come second if Barry Geraghty, say, was riding her as he rides Cheltenham so well. I think she would have got a lot closer to Honeysuckle than people think. The better ground as well at Punchestown will be massively in Epperton's favour. Honeysuckle seems to handle most sort of ground, so that shouldn't be an issue. It's just, I think Epperton will get close to her this time. I do expect that. But it's hard to take on Honeysuckle with anything else, really. Aspire Tower I've been quite interested with. He's not a horse I liked previously, but in this season, he's actually quite impressed me, and I'm starting to quite like his chances. He always seems to be quite a good each way price as well. Like, he's never really that short because he's from the Bromhead stable, so he's hard to see Aspire Tower ever beating Honeysuckle and its same trainer. But he seems to run a very consistent race every time. He finished fourth in the champion hurdle. The better ground should be fine for him. And he could run a place as well at a bigger price. So I wouldn't be backing a Honeysuckle really at 4-6. I'd rather be backing some others each way, as you never know. She's going to get beaten one day. Horses don't remain unbeaten their whole career. So I doubt it'll be this weekend at Punchestown at Honeysuckle losing the unbeaten record. But Aspire Tower and Epperton would be two I'd be taking on each way for the race. The final big race, I'd say, of the festival is the champion novice hurdle over 2.5 miles. Boblinger's another hot favourite at 4-6. Now, if you follow my Instagram, I've said that Boblinger is my favourite horse that I took out of Cheltenham. I was so impressed with him. I was on Gale Doom-Nil in the Ballymore, but Boblinger was amazing, I thought. And I think his big race next year will be the Marsh Novice Chase. He's around 5-1 for right now. I think they'll keep at 2.5 miles. I don't see why they'd drop him back to 2 miles and take on the likes of Appreciate It and maybe Inferni Hollow, as he seems to be far clear in the 2.5 mile division. So I think the Marsh Novice Chase at Cheltenham next year will be where he ends up, as he looks like a proper chaser as well. He made Braceman Game and Gare de Mille look pretty average, and I think Gare de Mille is a very good horse as well. I don't see the form being reversed at all if they both run. I think Boblinger is by far and away the best horse. I'd be backing him to win by, maybe to boost the odds, you could back him to win by like 4 lengths, 5 lengths, 6 lengths or something like that. I think he's way too good for them. So he's my favourite. He's up there, one of my favourite horses in training. I think he's definitely the horse that I took out Cheltenham. I'll be just backing regardless going forward. If I was back on each way at a price in this race, it would probably be Galopin Des Champs. He won the last race at the Cheltenham Festival very well in the end. I think he beat Langadan, the Skelton horse. Galopin Des Champs, I think the 2.5 mile brought out a lot of improvement from him at Cheltenham, and he's getting 2.5 here as well. I think he needs the better ground as well, which he'll also get at Punchestown. So I think this race could be quite nice. I wouldn't underestimate him either. I can't see him beating Boblinger, no way. I can't see that happening. But you could maybe back him each way, or if you wanted a forecast bet, Boblinger to beat Galopin Des Champs, I think that could happen, because I think Gael de Menil, although if he does run in this race, I think he's going to end up a 3 miler maybe. So I think, and plus I wouldn't be backing Gael de Menil, as he's proven that he's Boblinger beating fair and square last time. There's no reason why that form should be reversed. So I do think that Galopin Des Champs could come second. I'd rather back him each way than Gael de Menil, purely because you have no idea how good Galopin Des Champs is compared to Appreciate over 2.5 miles. So he's more of an unknown quantity, Galopin Des Champs. So I'd definitely be more interested in him than Gael de Menil. But I definitely think Boblinger is definitely my horse to follow going forward regardless, and in the next couple of seasons as well. I think he could be very good horse, and he could even be a Gold Cup horse if he can handle 3 miles when he gets older. So I definitely think I would be backing him for the Marsh Novice Chase next year as well. If you wanted an anti-post bet with Cheltenham right now, he's around 5-1 for it. So they're my selections for the main championship race on day 3 or 4 of the Punchestown Festival. So let me know if you've got any main picks for the races, and make sure to subscribe as more videos be coming out, and I'm giving you more tips on the horse racing. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you all next time.